Well, hello everyone. A week before Christmas here in Bognor Regis. Unlike many of those places that we've seen on YouTube, no snow at all down here in this part of the UK. Well, before we actually start today's project, let me show you something. We had a bonsai meeting on, well, the second Thursday in this month. In the green crate, we all had a free raffle ticket, and my raffle ticket came up with a prize of 9 hawthorns, which will hopefully be turned into a forest later on next year. Well, they were only potted up this year by the chap who gave them away. But he said leave them in these pots for a year and I'll think about making them into a forest in 2023. So we'll look for that in a year's time. Anyway, today's weekend we're calling WWW Weekend. You might have thought that stands for World Wide Web. Not in this case. It's Weeping Willow Weekend. I've got 3 willows down here. This is the first one. I thought had died. It probably has, but I'm leaving it just for now to see what happens to it and see if we get some sproutings coming out later on early next year. Then we move along to this second one. It has certainly got some dieback on it, but it's still alive, and all we have to do today is just trim off those dead branches. Then we move on to number 3 here, which is a much better specimen. Hasn't shown the willow dieback, and that's one we're going to start trying to get to weep today. So that's today's project. Right then, now this willow's only about 4 years old. Certainly very, very fast growers. Oh, they love to have their feet wet, but it has certainly put on an awful lot of roots. So first job is to cut those roots off. Then we can get on with what we've got. Right, I'm beginning to see what the hell's going on here. Well, that's a bit more manageable now. We can take it into the garage and work on it. Okay, well here we are in the garage. Right, for the first job, let's get rid of some of these dead willow branches. I don't really know why willows have this habit of dying back, but they do. And it's just something we're going to have to live with. Right. Get out my knob cutters and tidy that up. When I've finished on the tree, I'll get some sealant and seal all these up. These cut marks. Here's an old pruning stub that we'll get off. Oh, and there's one over here. And this branch is dead. Right, I think now it's a matter of wiring up. So I'll get my wire sorted and we'll zoom out with the camera to get it all set up. Before I start on this wiring, I thought I'd show you a trick I learnt off Hong from the KW Bonsai Society in Canada. All my wire I'm using is recycled wire, and I use Hong's technique for straightening it up. Obviously we've got the bend in this one here. It straightens up with pliers there. Pliers this end and a good sharp shove. And there we have a perfectly straight piece of bonsai wire. Right, okay then. Now, what we're going to plan to do, I think, is to, first one, I'm going to wire this branch here, and then wire this one and that one together. So, let's anchor this one around the trunk, and then we'll go on up. Okay. It'll get easier as I get on with this job, and less branches to fiddle around with. Okay, yes, I can see more buds coming up this branch as I go up it. So. I think this is going out of sight very shortly on the camera, but I'll just finish this one off. Wire's a bit thick for up here, but we'll put some other ones on later. Right, that's one wired up. Now then, we're going to wire this branch here and this branch here. Another lengthy piece of wire. Make it tidier. Anchor this one up here, and we can bring this one down here round onto this branch. There we are. Now we're rolling. Right. I'm not going to take the thick wire any further up the branch. I have to change over to a lower gauge wire to sort out the thin branches at the top. Okay, that's the main branches now wired. So let's see how they bend. As I'm going to weep this one over here. That needs another bit of wire on it, if I can feel it. Right. Just turn you off a minute while I find another piece of wire. It's going to have to be double wired, that one. Okay, I've got another piece of wire. Let me just make sure that camera's recording. We're okay. Right then. So these two branches have got to be double wired. It feels too stiff to bend. So let's take this around here to anchor it. That's that one doubled up. And up here. I'll sort that out when I get up there. Right, let's see now if this one will bend without cracking. Right, well there is our first start of the weep. Let me have a quick break. Well, what I've decided to do, because there's such a mess of these branches everywhere, I'm going to wire it all up off camera, then I'll come back to you and we'll start the bending. Okie dokie, see you in a tick. Right, well after about an hour I'm back. Not the most splendiferous piece of wiring, but there's wire on it and I can bend it. So, let's see what we've got and where we're going to start. Start down. Start on this one here, get this one bent down somewhere. I'm going to bend it around here. Make that one weep over here. I'm going to weep down there. Yes, I quite like the look of that. We'll get this one here. Make that a weep down there. And we can have this one. Got to come around here a bit before it starts weeping. Bit of a low branch, but there. This one over here. Bring this around up here. Oh, that was not anchored properly. Oh, and I haven't bent this one, have I? So a bit further over, and we can put this one into this hole here. And we can bend this one up here. Massage it around over here. Small bends, and you can feel if it's going to snap. That's the horrible sound of the cracking pencil we've all learnt to hate. Try to give it a bit of movement to the weeping branches. This one's probably way too long, will have to be cut off later, but just for now we'll leave it. I want to change my mind on this one and have it weeping down here. And we got to get these weeping. And this one. Pick it up first and then over. Over we come. Right. It could well be I'm not going to keep all these weeping branches. How does that look? Right. Well, I think for a first styling, it's showing potential. So I think I'll leave it at that. Put it back in the garden, let it recover, and think about repotting it next year. Anyway, that'll do for this weeping willow. I'll show you some. This is about 4 years old. I've got some 2-year-old seedlings at the top that I've also had a go at weeping in the last week, so I'll take you up and show you those. Just a final quick look of the weeping willow that we've just been working on the bench, and we'll go and have a look at the smaller ones. On the whole, I don't think it's come out too badly, and as I say, spring next year we'll think about repotting it into a decent bonsai pot. Okay, up the garden we go. And here are a couple of the other 2-year-old seedlings, not seedlings, cuttings, taken from whips. I had a go at bending round earlier. I don't think they've come out too badly either. Give them a few more years in the small pots. I actually have to pot these up twice a year, do it in the spring and in the autumn, and then we'll see about getting these into a proper bonsai pot. Right, show you some more. And here we have the last 3 that I've had a go at. So, I quite like the look of this one here. It's going to turn into a nice little shape, that one. I hope they don't get that dreaded willow dieback. Well, we'll wait and see. Anyway, Weeping Willow weekend has finished. Thank you very much.